it is a happy start of the week. I found a house today in 6 hours and approved that thing.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. So, thank you. My goal was to find a house by the 23rd and it is the 19th. So we are good to go. So,
schedule.
Listen, in the morning, I'll just sign that lease and just be done with this moving thing because I just hate a lingering process. But I'm so happy that I got you finally. You know, I've been you're welcome. I've been just snooping and peeking and listening, and I'm just like, okay, I need to get some new podcasters on the show because I think it's important to, one, share, to expose more people to content, people that's out here just, talking about something different, because I think for me, in my opinion, there's enough people talking about gossip and mainstream and celebrities, and like for me it's kind of like, what's the twist? And I was like, you know what, this season I want to focus on like kind of like dating topics, things that are going to help people date better, or give the opposite sex insight. And what's better than talking to the opposite sex? So I reached out to a lot of different male podcasters on purpose because I'm already a woman, so I have my opinions. But I think it's very important to share a point of view on different things that we both may experience in different relationships. So that's why I brought you on here. So this episode is called "I'ma Get You Right." And I got the Fade Up podcast here. And I'm thanking y'all for listening in. And I appreciate you. And I'm going to give you a good show as always. So I got the Berman Bren on here from the Fade Up podcast, where they talk about various topics. You know, he talks about various topics for your everyday life. So y'all should check it out. And I just want to thank you for being on the show, for She Gets It. I appreciate it. You know,
thank you for having me on.
Of course. This episode, I want to get into the topic, but before that, I want you to talk about your show, because the episodes that I did like so far were the parenting today, because it reminds me of something I would talk about on Cozy Womb Podcast, which is my parenting podcast, separate from She Gets It, because it's real, it's honest, and I don't think enough parenting gets talked about from a father's aspect. And I think it's important to hear why fathers get bothered by some comments mothers may say pertaining to the same child that they share, as if they don't have worries also. So I felt like that episode was important. Also the double standards one, because double standards are real. Some of them are like prehistoric in 2020 and need to be done away with, but some of them you need to keep because it creates some type of balance and leadership in a relationship. Right. And then the last one, not cheating on your barber. Even though I'm a woman, I had my hair cut very short and I had a barber for a while, and we're still close to this day. And I just think it's important, once you find somebody that listens to you and what you need to look your best, you keep that relationship consistent. Right. Because your barber always can tell when you've been cheating. You know, they would never do the line like that. They would never do the curve like that. Like, where you been? You know? Right. I think that's super important. So before we get started, can you tell me what got you into podcasting?
Yeah, actually it kind of goes back honestly to the Don't Cheat on Your Barber episode, because first of all, for anyone who hasn't checked this out, please do. The Fade Up podcast, we're on every major platform, but That was my actual barber on that episode. And I'd say this a lot to people because everybody always asks, obviously, like, where did you get the inspiration to come up with your show from? And it came straight up from the barbershop. And my barber, him and I, we've known each other for a long time. So that's why you kind of hear in that episode, like, we have just this great rapport. We can talk for hours literally about anything. And then he went to school, got his license, and then he became my barber. And the shop that he works at is kind of somewhat of a hipster type shop, but I wouldn't necessarily classify them as that. A lot of places would, or a lot of they would get that classification only because it's trendy. They have a different look. It's not your typical like barbershop when you walk in there. So but we have like great conversations in there all the time, like whether it be me and him or other barbers, people coming in and out of the shop. It's like very intellectual. And I'm like, man, I want to capture these conversations because I think that everybody feels like at the barbershop, all guys talk about is sex and sports. That's probably it. And but we get deep in there. We talk about mental health. We talk about like the episode on parenting. We talk about that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
We talk about racial issues, social injustice, mental health. We talk about just everything. I mean, we do talk about sports and sex and stuff too, but we try to open it up and make it all inclusive so that anyone listening to it, whether it be male, female, black, white, whatever, can find something to relate to. And so that's what I'm like, let's figure out a way to capture this, and podcasting was the best way.
Nice. From the time that you started till now, what have you noticed that has changed the most in your show, or what have you gotten more comfortable with doing versus from when you started?
Well, the biggest thing definitely would be no longer having co-hosts, and it's not anything bad or anything for like that. They have their own personal things that they have going on.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest change, but also kind of learning that I can actually run a show by myself, because going into even creating the Fade Up podcast, I went back and forth for a while about whether I wanted it to be just me or whether or not I wanted to have co-hosts on there. And I set it on co-host because, again, like I said, we're barbershop based, so you want to have multiple people on there. But I've also gotten a lot of feedback like, oh, the solo episodes are really good. So I'm discovering that I can do those solo episodes by myself and still make it, have a range of topics that will still give people that feel and that flow of, just that open space. But eventually I'm going to, definitely get more people back on and continue to have guests and things like that. So it's been up and down, but it's definitely been rewarding though in the meantime.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the work and time and just stress that goes into having multiple people on a show. And it's not because people are hard to work, it's because people are out here living their individual lives. And to consistently get multiple people at one place at one time to do the same thing is hard. So I think that's why with podcasts that may have multiple people on a show, you're probably going to get less shows than you would if you was doing it by yourself. I know for me.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of podcasters do that. They drop off kind of after a while.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with and a lot of different personalities, and maybe one person may want to do it more than the other, or maybe one person may want to have the show go this way and that's not the direction you want to go in. But one show that I do appreciate and I do love is The Shop, because it's different people with different opinions, and I think LeBron James doing that show was very important because you got to see like these people off screen, not acting, they're talking, not playing ball, they're talking, not being on this show that they're known for being on. Like, they actually have brains of their own and they can think for their own, and it's just something to appreciate to hear all those point of views. What I've always hated about being a woman in a barbershop is men feeling like they have to censor themselves.
Yeah.
I don't like when men be like, oh, I'm sorry, it's a lady in here. Like, I don't care. Like, this is your space. Like, everywhere else a man is the idea that a woman is in a room and I can't do this. Mm-hmm. This is more so your space. My father owned property. He gambled a lot, but he also owned a barbershop and he cut hair. And sometimes I would go to his barbershop with him in Philadelphia, and it's man talk in a barbershop. And I think that's what made me grow up, along with 5 other brothers, comfortable in a room full of men talking man stuff. Like, I'm not intimidated by that. I don't feel like, you're making me feel less than because I'm a girl. It's kind of like, just, talk your talk because this is your space. And the conversation can always be more than shoes, more than sports, more than women. But it just gives you different insights. So I do appreciate discussions like that. And it comes through on your show. So that's pretty good. You get that direction.
And that's the aim. That's definitely the aim. And it's funny you say that because the shop was actually one of my big inspirations too. And you're right with that. Like, we will censor ourselves a lot because I do it, in our barbershop when women come in, and my barber does it, and the other barbers in the shop. And so it just naturally happens. But you do get some women who will come in there and they shoot the shit just like the guys. But that was one of the things I wanted here too, because that was a question prior to me even finally launching and creating the show. Where people would come to me when I was telling everyone, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. That question was asked, like, once you get into telling them what the show's going to be about, the very next question usually is like, so, well, what about women? Are you going to have women on the show? And I'm like, yeah, because that opinion does matter, and that does give us that space to, if this is going to be a barbershop based show, get anybody and everybody who wants to come on and let them speak. And like I said, that there was an inspiration there, because when you watch his show, there's women on there. There are people of different races. It's not just Black people in there. It's obviously majority Black people because it's inspired by that dynamic that we have in the barbershop. And the barbershop is such an important staple in the Black community. But he also brought other people on there, so it allowed you to see other voices and people give other opinions, but also brought them into our world to kind of have our experience and see, what we talk about on a day-to-day, or what we live, what we go through. Like, this is the conversation that we have, and this stuff is important and it's hard-hitting, and it may not always be the most comfortable conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. And you start to see insight and other people relating, and it's just so it's all great. And I think at the end of it, it's all beneficial. And so that's why I'm like, I love doing it. I love going to the barbershop and talking, but I wanted to really do it here and give other people an opportunity to, come on and just talk.
I love it. Keep doing it. Make it just stick. Like, the reason why you'll see like a lot of podcasters come and go or start and slow down and lose interest is because that vision is not there from the start to carry them all the way through. So if you stick with it, I feel like you'll stick around, basically. So keep that going. So let's get into this topic. All right. So I brought you this topic, and you asked me like kind of like, what do I mean by that? And the question is, what does the saying "I'ma get you right" mean in your mind? So like, what does that mean to you if a woman says "I'ma get you right"?
Well, when it comes to women, it could be like several different things. So it could be like, let me get you right in the space of like, oh, I'm gonna get you dressed up, I'm gonna get you looking good or whatever. Or it could be like, I'm gonna get you right, like, I need to check you real quick because you came at me sideways. 9 times out of 10, I feel like with women, especially Black women, it's like if you say I'm gonna get you right, that's usually not a good thing. So
oh no.
it's so it's just, it just kind of depends on who it's coming from. It depends on the moment.
Yeah.
So I think of when I say I'm gonna get you right, it's kind of a straighten up. Like in some way, shape, or form, and just bottom line, it means I'm gonna straighten you up one way or the other, whether it's something serious or I'm just joking, or like I said, I need to get your clothes game right, get you dressed right, so I'm gonna get you right. We about to go out and party tonight, so bottles on me, I'm gonna get you right that way. It's just it depends.
Okay, so for me, when I've said I'm gonna get you right to a man that I was with in a relationship with, it just really meant don't worry about it. You're so used to having to probably like foot the bill or set up the plans or kind of like dictate the night. I'm gonna get you right is me saying I'm gonna take care of you. I know what you like. Just relax, be comfortable. I think men are so stuck in this transition of always making sure they do for their lady, or always making sure that they do the right things expected as a man, so she doesn't have nothing to say. And if let's say we don't work, she can't run to her friends and be like, girl, let me tell you what this man did, or blah blah blah. It's a way that a woman can then return the favor of satisfying a man and making him feel like, oh, you've been paying attention too, or you peep that I like this thing, and men win more, in my opinion, by taking their time. I think a man that's really quick to buy a woman's likes or take her on these trips or dinners that he can't keep up, you're going to lose over time because you're starting her off too big. Like you can lead up to those things and see if her interests may earn better things from you. But I don't think starting off with all of that up front is going to get you further. It's just, she's just going to use you up, basically. So the man who brags less about what he will do, what he can do, will receive more. And when a woman says, I'm going to get you right, it should be on the lines of, I'm here for your needs, and that's pleasing. And, what do you want? I'm here. This is your time to be honest. And I think people look over the fact that there's a lot more value and intimacy in you being able to be honest sexually with the person that you're with. A lot of people put on this facade like they don't want certain things or they're not going to do certain things. But at the end of the day, you're curious about those things. So if you're not going to share with your person that you're curious about these things, who are you sharing that with? And then sometimes that can lead you down a dark hole of dealing with somebody that you won't ever have to see again to try this thing. So you won't be judged by it. And I just feel like if that's your person, there's nothing that you should be judged for. Were you ever, in a position where you felt like, oh no, I'm not going to tell her that. I might talk about this to like my friends or whatever, but I'm not going to tell her that because I don't want her to think X, Y, and Z. Or was it something where you catch yourself being able to have a discussion with her?
I think I've had a little bit of both in relationships. And it's funny you say all what you said, and let me just go back to that for a second. That just shows how much trauma we have as big. My thing is like, oh, woman says I'm gonna get you right. Like, oh, I done did something. So in that, but that is a good thing. And like you're saying with women, and men in general too. You know, it's okay for us to just kind of, you know, for men to be a little bit more open and things with women, and not trying to be Superman so many times, but also on the flip side, to women, it's okay to treat your guy. But I've had, like I said, I've had it from both sides. I've had it in a way where I've been afraid to say something, because I'm like, how is she going to receive it? How is she going to take it? But that also lets me know that if I'm not comfortable saying that to this person that I'm with, then it's probably not good anyway, because I should be comfortable enough to say something. It could be either on me that I didn't do something right, or it could be on her that she's not opening it up for that. But I've also had it, like I said, on the flip side, to where I've been in relationships, situations with people where I can go to her and I can say, you know, this is on my mind, let me tell you this, versus running to my boys, or like you said earlier, like being so stuck on it, but wanting it, but then trying to front to everybody like it's not my thing, but then I'm trying to seek it on the low from, you know, from somebody else. So it just, you know, like I said, I've had it on both sides.
Okay. I think, do you find that it's harder for men to let a woman lead in pleasing them? Like, and I'm not talking just on some bedroom stuff, like, you know, making the plans, taking you somewhere where you never been. Maybe the surprise is for you, not for me. And if you think it's hard for men to do that, why is it hard for men to do that, in your opinion?
I think it's 100% an ego thing. Because I feel like I've been like that at times. It is, and it is hard. Sometimes your pride gets in the way. It all depends. Like for me, I have it hard, for one, because of that male ego, and for two, because I just come from a background of, I just want to do things myself first. So it's easier to, it's easier to just kind of take that and say, hey, I'm gonna take the lead. But it's okay for you sometimes, again, to realize, like, I need to back off. But we just, like I said, it's such a big ego thing with us that we're like, we always got to be in control. We always got to dominate, because if I step back, is she gonna look lesser at me? You know, am I gonna not be considered a man? Am I gonna be the topic of her group chat where, you know, they talking about dudes
we love a group chat,
you know, lazy and they don't do X, Y, and Z. So you're like, oh man, am I gonna become that center guy because of this one time? Because you never know what people, you know, people nowadays, they like to test you just because anyway. So it's like, oh man, am I going to be the guy that you know, she says she's going to treat me for dinner, and then I take that treat, but really this was like, let me see what kind of guy he really is. So, you know, you get, like I said, with men, we're very ego driven. So you start thinking of a million things that really, when you look at it all, it doesn't matter. But we're also just, I think we're built to be that too, because it's, you know, it comes from generation to generation to generation. And I know they say nowadays our generations, and as we get younger, these generations get younger, that they get, you know, less chivalry and less care and respect for one another, which I don't necessarily think that's true. But it's just passed down. So if you come from a background where it's like the man has to take care of everything, and for many of us, especially Black people, we're not that far removed from our parents or our grandparents, and that man being the man. My grandmother, for instance, on my mom's side, she didn't work. My grandfather did everything. He paid the bills, and you know, he brought in the money for the groceries. He took care of everything around the house. So you just have that example too. So that's another part of it. You kind of think to yourself, like, what would grandma or grandfather think if I, you know, allow myself to take a step back for a minute and let her kind of, you know, run the show.
Yeah, my grandparents on my mom's side, they were married for like 40 something years, and my grandmother never worked, but they also had 13 kids. And my grandfather always worked, and he built houses. He made furniture. He traveled a lot. Left for 3 months, come home. I've never seen him cook, never seen him clean, never seen him wash clothes, but he was around if you needed the man in the house. And today is kind of like women have the options to do both. And it's kind of like, with that being said, men and women have to find new ways of appreciating each other while doing more effort in showing that. And it can't just be, I came back home. It can't just be, didn't I pay the bill? Because you can be like, I paid a bill too. Does that really mean anything at the end of the day? So I think if, I'm gonna get you right works both ways, it would be some more balance in relationships and not more so like, she got the best out of me, or he got the best out of me, and now I have nothing because he left, or now I have nothing because, we didn't work. When it should be like, how can I give more? Or how can I do more? The challenge should be, damn, you really like surprised me, or you really took the time to, schedule a trip for my birthday, get all my friends, meet at this one place, keep me completely out the loop. And that's hard because right now I have a best friend who planned a whole trip to Mexico for her boyfriend, and got his friends to come on the trip without him knowing. And he was like nagging her the whole time about, where's my passport? Why I gotta be ready at this time? Who coming? Where we going? Where's this flight going? And it's kind of like, you can only do that so much to somebody that wants to do something good for you, where that trust has to come in, that like, okay, this person has my best interest. I'm gonna go ahead and chill and let them do this thing. And I think if men were treated more in a, let me reciprocate how you make me feel type of thing from a woman, I think they would relax more. But I think a lot of men are so used to a woman always wanting from them that they don't know how to put their shoulders down and relax and actually receive something good coming from a woman without it being like, oh no, I must have messed up because she being too nice. Or, I must have did something crazy. Is today the anniversary? Is today her birthday? Did I miss? Like, it doesn't have to be that. And I think we all have to get out the habit of only doing good things on those days. Like, you don't have to celebrate Valentine's Day on this day. You don't have to show your appreciation on this day. You don't have to give a gift on this day. I think it's the days that don't mean anything that you do the most compassionate things that matter the most, because it's unexpected. Like, you went out your way to do these things. So for you, I just would like for you to change what I'm gonna get you right means from a woman, because I think Black men, especially Black men, y'all need to relax out here. Y'all got a lot on y'all plate already. Y'all already think so many people on the outside world is on some out to get you, or let's pick on him today, that it doesn't necessarily have to be women. And so that's my go-to for you out of this episode, is to change your thought process on, I'm gonna get you right. And it should be something pleasurable. It should be, if you guys are energy exchanging, is what I call it, a clean way. Maybe you might try different tricks. Maybe you might try food items. Maybe you might try watching something adult-like together and talking about what you like and what you don't like. And it's all about getting to know the person that you actually like spending your time around. So that's what I got out of I'm gonna get you right.
gonna change my trauma.
Please do. Please
I would
do.
change my trauma.
Please
But
do.
I definitely agree with you from the standpoint. You said a couple of key points in there, especially us as Black men. We are so used to being attacked that I think we're getting to a point now where we kind of attack.
Yeah.
Or we make an assumption that because so many outside forces are out to get us, that means that everybody, you know, including in our inner circle or including, you know, other Black people, Black women are out to get us too. And it's not, you know, it's not that.
Yeah.
But we're so hard up every time someone like we do something and someone comes to us and they're like, no, let's do it this way. That's not the way to do it or whatever. We are so quick to get defensive and get angry and frustrated and or just, you know, even switching gender roles because we're constantly, it's on our head constantly that we have to be strong. And, you know, we have to change, I think, the interpretation of what strong means, first of all. But the other part of it too is we hear that being strong, so, you know, is this, and this, or we interpret it whatever way we interpret it. So when we do run into someone who, like you said, a woman says, hey, I'm gonna get you right, that we take it a certain way, or in the situation with like your friend's boyfriend, he's not really understanding how to receive it. She means 100% good, but he's like, he's in his mind, he's looking around like there's got to be a catch or something. What happened? What did I do? What did I forget? What's going on? Is she trying to butter me up? Or is she trying to get me to buy her a ring? Like, what's like all these things start going through his head. And it's just not taking back and just sitting and receiving it and like enjoying the moment and just saying, hey, you know what? Nothing has to come out of this like that, at least that I think is going to come out of it. Let me just sit back, enjoy it, and see what is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, because a lot of times you can end up making those situations bad just simply because you're in your mind so much. You know, she means well and she's like, hey, let's go out on a date, and she takes you to a nice place and you're so in your head that, you know, you start acting up. Then it goes from a good night to a bad night just simply because you couldn't, you know, you took what it meant to be something else.
Yeah. I sort of I want to blame like social media for putting in people's heads like, this is what you're supposed to do, you know, with your person when you're at 8 months. This is what you're supposed to do, you know, after you have a baby. The push gift was originally for women who are celebrities or a man who is at a certain status that can buy you these things. The push gift is not really for the everyday working people who have like real bills and real everyday clock in jobs. I think for me, the best push gift would be like, I have another parent to my child that's consistent and I can depend on if I can't be able. And I think, you know, younger people today, when they see social media or they see celebrities do different things, they automatically assume like, this is how you show your love now. And if you don't show your love this way, it's not legit. And it's not a lot of men out here receiving the reciprocation of, okay, you know, I did all of that stuff for you last week, the month before that, and I gotta wait until like my birthday for you to do one nice thing, or I gotta wait until Christmas for you to do one nice thing. And you know, the effort as you go and being treated a different way and being recognized and appreciated as like, okay, remind me why I'm here. Remind me what's the benefit of me doing right by us. Remind me what's the benefit of thinking about us instead of thinking about myself. And it's all about balance. So I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate your perspective, man. Can you tell everyone where to get you, where to find you and listen to your podcast before you go and find you on social media?
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, you can find us pretty much anywhere. We're definitely on all major streaming platforms.
Yeah.
I just recently moved our show from our host site was Simplecast. We just moved it to Buzzsprout. So we're on a few other podcasting platforms now. So make sure you guys follow us there. You can also follow the show. Not necessarily the show now because I kind of turned the Instagram more into the network that I'm trying to work on and build up. So follow us on Instagram, Blueprint_Media Network. Also, I got a YouTube page, Blueprint Media Network. Right now, I've been putting out videos on how to start a podcast. So if anybody's listening and you want to start a podcast, definitely check us out. And then you can also follow me personally on Instagram and Twitter at BirdmanBren84.
Yeah. Nice. And for anybody that's listening that, just wants to talk or have something to say or has content or a podcast, there's a new app that's out right now called Stereo app that I feel like anybody that's bringing content should get on. They have some great benefits to talking on that app, where you're wide range to a lot more people. You can, add more people to your following, get more listeners. It connects to all of your social media. You also could earn money for talking on there for X amount of time about different topics. You could get verified as a content provider and get paid for that, like on a weekly basis. So, and the best thing about it for me is you can take the whole discussion and have live feedback from listeners that are listening on the app from wherever they are. And you can send it directly into your podcast show as an audio. So it's kind of like working double ways and being able to monetize yourself more than once. So if you haven't downloaded the app or you haven't taken a look at it, look at the Stereo app because it's a pretty good app. It's very new, but I've been on it for like a week or so, but you should look into it. Good stuff. But thank you for going on She Gets It.
Heard of that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. I appreciate, like I said, you having me on and being able to have this I'm gonna get you right conversation. Now I know what it actually means, that it's not
right.
Like I said, I'm gonna have to clear that trauma of whatever the I'm gonna get you right used to mean to me and open my mind a little bit more.
You got to get out your way. You might be blocking your blessings. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. And hopefully we can do more collabs later on in this podcast world.
Yes. I'll be looking for some more collabs too. So I definitely will be reaching out to you and anybody else who wants to join the any episodes that we have coming up. So
fall is coming. Fall is like my favorite time of the year. Autumn is my favorite season. So if you're looking for some merch, check your girl. Support the She Gets It podcast by getting you some merch. You know what I'm saying? You get some merch, you support, you get a little something out of it. You become a representative, an affiliate for She Gets It podcast. And I have sweatshirts on there, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need is on the She Gets It shop. Shop with Teespring. I'll go ahead and put the link up. Let's get back to the show.